Welcome back everybody to a brand new rebuild. We are going to Aston Villa. Aston Villa are doing particularly well this season. Currently lying in 7th in a fight for 5th spot, or the top 6 at least anyway, with Liverpool and Tottenham, who they are level on points with and just a couple of points behind Liverpool, who have hit a rich period of form. But Aston Villa, up to now, just that one loss to at United just recently, have been on a bit of form themselves. So they're looking for that European spot, as well as finishing in the as high as they can, really. And I think top 4 is out of their reach, but you never know. So in this rebuild, we are going to try and get them consistently into the top 6, try and get a European spot, see how well they do in Europe. They have had one Champions League success, or the old UEFA champions in 1982. They have won the English Premier Division, or the First Division, as was back in 1981 was the last time, but other than that it has been in the late 1800s, early 1900s. 7 FA Cup wins, the last one being in 1957. We'll try and remedy that as well if at all possible. The Super Cup they did win in 82. Carabao Cup back in 96 was the last time they won that trophy as well, with a couple of other trophies, and the Community Shield, which was won in 1981. So they have had a lot of success, boasting 26 competition wins. The media prediction for this season is to finish 13th. They are going to surpass that in real life, and we are hoping to do that also. Their best 11, they've got Traore, Watkins, Coutinho, Douglas Luiz, Kamara, Buendia, Marino, Mings, Carlos, Cash, and Martinez in goal, which I think Martinez is an absolute superb goalkeeper. They don't want us to sign anybody above the age of 28, so that gives us a lot of leeway. Then sign players under the age of 23 for the first team, so that's going to be kind of difficult. We'll try and maybe get the odd 1 or 2 in, possibly. We'll see what sort of budget we have got. Sign players to sell for profit, become established in the Premier Division, be competitive in the FA Cup and Carabao. Next season, top half. Obviously, we want to be in the top 6 if we can. 24-25, UEFA Europa League, UEFA Europa League, and the Europa League. The staff we got to work with needs improving. I'm not going to lie, especially their recruitment team and medicals, and most definitely the coaching staff as well. But squad-wise, they have got relatively a large squad, but a lot of talent in there as well. We've got Diego Carlos, who's now injured. He's out to 9 months, so that cuts him out for the rest of this season, unfortunately, and probably a player we'll probably look to offload next season, possibly. Lucas Digne, 28 years old, some nice stats to sit at the back. He's relatively quick as well, and he can cross the ball. An absolute great advocate for a left back as well. Buendia looks superb on the right wing. Even Camroll he can play there, or in the right midfield, sorry. They've also got Marino as well, another left-sided wing back. Could be a first team starter ahead of Digne, but we'll see how that goes. He can play up on the left wing as well, actually, which is pretty decent. Boubacar Kamara in midfield. We've got Tyrone Mings, centre or left back. I'm surprised at left back, but yeah, definitely in the middle. Douglas Luiz in the midfield, or DM role. Coutinho, 30 years old. There's no transfer for the first window. We're playing with the players that we have got with an updated version of FM23. Again, left-sided midfield, cam role. I can see where we're going with this already, but we'll have a play around. And the goalkeeper, Martinez, as well. Superb goalkeeper. Aerial reach, fantastic. One-on-one's even better. Reflexes, wow. At 29 years old. How long has he got? He's got 5 years left on his contract. Okay. Maybe we'll keep him here till he's 34. Looking at the under-21 zone, the Kerr Smith. Great potential. Same with Archer and a few others also. But Kerr Smith, 17-year-old centre-back. 6'3". He's got great jumping reach, and heading's not too bad either. For 17, that is really, really good. Under 18s, Caden Young, a promising winger. Great potential on him as well. Acceleration superb. Pace is really good as well, actually. Potential ability, 18 to 20. That is magnificent. I tell you what, at 16 years old, he could be one for the future, I think, in this rebuild even. Just have a quick look at the finances. They have got £4 million in the bank. They are at budget almost with £100,000 actually. So we may get to strengthen some of the key players, offering new contracts if they run out next season. But other than that, like I say, there will be no transfers for the first window. We'll play with what we've got, and then the business starts next season. We'll try and replicate what they're doing in the first season here. So first off, we've got to find a formation. So for this season, we're going to try this formation out. It's not exactly the 4-4-2, but a 4-3-3 formation. One up front. Buendia gets a start for me. So does Watkins and Kamara as well. Relatively young players, but Buendia has got an injury. He's out for about 3 weeks. So yeah, he won't be playing in that position, but we have got other players that can play there as well. Pre-season has gone absolutely fantastic. You couldn't ask for a better start in the pre-season. However, this beginning of the season is a different kettle of fish. Liverpool beat us 2-0. We lose to Brentford away and Tottenham by the same score of 3-1. Very disappointing until we get ourselves on our feet with a win at home to Leyton Orient in the Carabao Cup. Then we draw West Ham and Leicester, which I expect us to beat them sort of games, but while we're getting used to the formation, which we should have had that time in the friendlies anyway, we will get our results, and it was rewarded in the home game against Wolverhampton. A 2-0 victory with Ollie Watkins netting both goals, 2 inside a minute, which is fantastic stuff. We've drawn Leicester actually away from home in the Carabao Cup, so that's going to be an interesting one. So currently we are lying in 16th position, not the best of starts. However, we are unbeaten in our last 3 games. Preview, we are still in 11th position, mid-table. We want to climb up to there, and losing to Tottenham wasn't the best of starts, and Leicester, and not beating West Ham hasn't helped matters at all. We haven't got any players in the Dream 11, which is probably expected. So let's move on to Season 1. Let's simulate it and let's see how we do. We finished at creditable 8th position, just outside the European spots, unfortunately, just by 2 points. Tottenham beating us to it. 15 wins, 7 draws, 15 losses, which is quite a bit. No goal difference. So we concede 53 and score 53. It has been a win-loss situation going on there, though. But it is Liverpool that take the title, a point from Manchester United, and then further 3 points from City fall into 3rd position. Brighton, 4th position. Well, and Palace getting to 6th. Wow, what on earth has happened here? Chelsea in 9th position. We do finish above them, which is good, and above Newcastle as well. But it's Leicester, Forest and Fulham that go down. And Ollie Watkins, 3 goals off getting the golden boot. Haaland takes it from him, but wow, he does finish ahead of Rashford as well, and Daka, and Nonto, and Salah as well. We didn't start off brightly with the 3 losses straight away. We do bring it back a little bit though. We do lose to United 4-1. But the games we lose heavily to are to the big 6 teams though. We beat Leeds, Fulham and draw with Arsenal actually. That's not bad. We lose 2-1 to Man City. Crystal Palace we lose to, who we know finished above us. Chelsea and Newcastle. Too many losses interrupting some very, very fine form in there. We draw with Man United but beat Forest 4-1. We lose 6-0 to Liverpool as well, which is disappointing. We beat Chelsea later on in the season, a 4-1 win over Brighton as well. Arsenal we beat 4-1 at home, which is amazing. Then we go and lose it away at West Ham. We beat Tottenham at home 4-1 as well, but we lose to Wolves. And then we beat Leicester on the last day of the season 5-3. So we do score a lot of goals in some games, but also concede. The FA Cup we get as far as the 5th round after beating Swindon and Preston. We lose 1-0 to Chelsea. Pulisic scoring in the 85th minute. Carabao Cup we get as far as the 4th round and losing to Man City 1-0. So the losses haven't been that bad. We're very, very close with a 14th minute goal from Akanji, and that's after beating Leyton Orient and Leicester. Moraes, the 26-year-old striker who is on loan, 27 goals. That's not too bad at all. But Watkins, 25 goals in 35. 3 assists isn't too bad. Traore with weighs in with 10. And that is about it. Some more goals through the team as well, but not too much. Buendia, 4 goals, 9 assists, which isn't too bad. Leon Bailey, 5 and 5. Coutinho, 10 assists. it's just not enough, is it, at all? 13 and 10 assists and Kamba, he's out on loan currently, 13 assists. So really, we just haven't been on the ball at all. And Martinez only conceded 52 in 42 games. So they are going to be giving us 53 million pounds in the forthcoming season, despite the fact they are 37 million pound in the red. We may have to sell in order to bring more players in, I reckon. But 53 million seems to be a very, very good amount. We'll have a look at the outs first, and we lose Nakamba. He came back off loan. Now he's gone off to Shakhtar. There isn't going to be any room for him. He's 28, 29 years old now, and we brought some better players in my opinion. But £7 million, and off he goes. Traore's gone to Everton for 2.9 million. Morez has gone to Pumas for 2.7, and we lose a couple of youngsters as well. Also out the door, a few of the other youngsters as well, all out on a free. Their contracts all ran out. So our first signing from Benfica, Enrique Araujo, a centre forward to rival Watkins really, or possibly to come in as our number one striker. £10 million for the 21-year-old. He's got absolutely amazing potential, and I think I've had him in a previous save as well. He's just absolutely brilliant, and I think he'll do a great job for Aston Villa, and he'll be there for some years to come as well. From FLU for £15 million, we bring him Andre in the midfield. We're not going to go with the DM this time round, but he can play there anyway, but more for the central midfielder role. He's still got some potential left. But for £15 million, again, we're trying to get young players in, and at 22 years old, fantastic. Leipzig had to let go of Mohamed Simikan for £18.75 million. The central defender at 6'2". I think he's very, very powerful as well. He's got great pace and acceleration on him, brilliant strength and stamina and everything else. His physicals look really, really nice, but bravery and determination stood out, and tackling as well. That's what you need in your centre-back. And finally, we bring in Nicholas Raskin. We had him on our previous rebuild at Rangers. Thought he's really, really good. For 22 years old, to sit in midfield, to do a job. It only cost us £20 million. So I was really happy to snatch him. Mentors and physicals and everything else looks really. He's got a great first touch as well. Passing ability and tackling is fantastic in that central midfielder role. I tell you, we're going to have a very, very strong midfield. And like I say, we're not playing with the DM. The midfield is going to be Andre Raskin and Araujo and the Simikan. They're going to be our starters for this season, as we've just bought them. We want to give them a chance. But in the midfield alongside them, we can have either Kamara or Douglas Luiz. We can have Sansom, McGinn and Ramsey as well. So we'll see how that goes. We're going to have him as a DLP defender. The other two are going to be central midfielders on support. And so far, it's gone okay. We've just had that one loss to Ajax. Other than that, we didn't concede any goals in the friendlies. We started off with a 3-2 loss against Newcastle, but we did come back against Leeds, Brentford and Tottenham, which we lost our first 3 games last season, so it's a massive improvement. We had to beat Bristol City out on penalties in the Carabao Cup, but we lost our last game to Burnley, who were sitting near the bottom of the table actually, a 1-0 defeat, which was really, really disappointing. We are lying in 6th position, so we're not near the bottom this time, so we've got a very good start this time round. 6 points off the leaders Liverpool, who are 5 for 5. Palace, Sheffield United, Leeds, they even beat Man United and Tottenham. Preview for this season, 9th. So we have gone up a little bit in the media predictions, 200 to 1. I think that's either the same or slightly less. We've only got Wolves above us, and then we hit the 33 to 1 in the top 7. That's where we're aiming to be. We haven't got anybody in the Dream 11 as yet, but we will be trying to pick some of these off for next season, possibly. Arnold might be a good shout. Diaz as well, if they're on the right side of 30, that is. So without any further ado, let's simulate our second season, and fingers crossed we can break into this top 6. We've done it. We've surpassed expectations. We have beat last season's position, and we are in 6th position, and we get a place in the Europa Conference League as well. Whether or not we have to go through the qualifiers remains to be seen. 20 wins this time, and we beat Arsenal to the 6th place on goal difference by 1, amazingly enough. That is, wow, what a season we've had. Arsenal look like they've had a torrid season. Newcastle and Tottenham below them as well. But it is Liverpool that run away with it. Only 15 points the gap. Man United behind them by 6. West Ham are there. Man City, Chelsea and ourselves. We're only 4 points off a Europa League Champions League spot. That is phenomenal. That is a really, really good progress for this season. And Araujo in his first season, 22 goals behind Isaac, Salah and Haaland, who only had 31 this season. So checking our form, we had a good start at the beginning of the season with them 3 wins despite the 2 losses. We didn't fare too well later on in that month, though, losing to United and Chelsea. But October was very fruitful, 9 points from 9 in that, beating Arsenal 1-0. However, we do lose to Palace and Bournemouth, disappointingly. We lose to Man City, we beat Brighton, and then Wolves, West Ham and Chelsea all lose to, despite drawing with Liverpool. Then we go on a little bit of a run after losing to United, including a 6-0 victory over Sheffield United and a 1-1 draw with Liverpool, and beating Man City 3-2. Wow, that is some season. And smashing Newcastle 5-1, in fact. Some big scores in there, which is really, really good. Arsenal and Everton get their own back. 2 losses there, which interrupts some really, really good form. And then we finish very strong to get ourselves into that elusive European spot. The FA Cup, we had to go to a replay. And despite bringing them home, Newcastle come away with a 1-0 victory. Isaac penalty on 28 minutes before Ramsey gets sent off in the 63rd, and then it's an uphill battle after that. Carabao Cup, we get to the 3rd round, losing on penalties to Spurs after beating Bristol City on penalties. So both games going to penalties. Disappointing we didn't get any further in that, but I suppose all eyes are really on the league. We're not scoring that many goals, and Araujo in his first season 24 goals, Bailey with 10. Watkins still got some game time, 27 in fact, 5 goals, 7 assists, which isn't brilliant. A few more goals shared between the whole team, but not an awful lot though, with just 24. Half these appearances really. Araujo needs to get that up pretty quickly though. 5 assists, and assist wise it's really, really poor. Not our best showing, I don't think. However, Martinez only conceded 49 in 42 this season. We've been given another 56, 57 million pounds this time to go and bring some more players in. Do we lose a midfielder and go for somebody in a cam position? So we go 4-2-3-1, see how well that does. Or do we do a 4-4-2? We'll have to have a look at the formation, see what players suit. But I do believe we're going in the right direction, and I think attacking wise we need to go. As you can see, we've sold out £125 million worth of talent. 2 players couldn't really be helped. Jacob Ramsey, £60 million to Man United. They reached his release clause. I didn't realise he had one. United came in and just nicked him off us. Can't believe it. Raskin as well. Real San Sebastian hit the release clause. We tried to offer Raskin another contract to try and counter it, but he wanted £100,000 more a week, and I was not prepared to do it. So we let him go. Leon Bailey goes to Villarreal for £16 million. Mings goes to Real Hispalis for 11. Sanson as well goes to Shakhtar for 6. Chambers goes to Brentford for just under £5 million. Dendonka to Everton for 3. We sold a lot of players in here that are not going to get any game time, especially Leon Bailey. However, we have brought in some pretty good replacements. Starting with this wonder kid from Copenhagen. I think it's about £12 million. Rooney, but Badaji. I think it's something like that. But look at them stats. He's only 18 years old. Wow. Is all I can say. 5 goals in the Europa Conference League already for us. This guy is going to be superb. He's got potential ability for 162 versus his ability at the minute, which stands at 153. He's going to be a superb 5-star player in the not too distant future. Player from AZ for just around about £12 million, I think it was. It's Milos Kerkez. We mainly got him for his potential. He's got potential of 144 at the moment. Currently he's standing at 136. I think he's got the ability to go more than that. But look at them physicals. It just the 2-star does not do him justice at all. And at 20 years old, he should be like that 18-year-old as well. he should be a wonder kid. I mean, them stats just, well, again, another youngster, one for the future. For £17 million from Dynamo Moscow, we bring in a cam player or a left wing, right wing. We're changing formation. So he's going to be in the cam role, more of a shadow striker. Again, potential is pretty high again. 21 years old. Looks superb. Dinamo Zagreb, I think it is. £22 million. Martin Buterina. Again, look at them stats. They just speak for themselves. It looks absolutely amazing. He's going to be sitting in the cam role. Shadow striker once again. Our formation has changed somewhat. He's almost at his potential. I think he's got the ability to go a bit more. And at 21, and again, another star. We raid one of our rivals for £24 million. Newcastle, Andrea Papetti, a defender. 22 years old. Again, one for the future. We may have to delve into the market for another one. Possibly. We're not quite sure yet. Depending how it goes. Physicals, again, looks fantastic. And then by far the most we've spent so far, it's another wonder kid. He's going to be sitting in the midfield. And it is Romeo Lavia, 20 years old. Not quite at his potential, so he's got a bit of room to move. Stats look amazing, but up to 80 to 90 million pounds from Southampton. It's a lot of money. However, I think he's darn worth it. So overall, £156 million, £80 million in the end for Lavia. But £156 million brought in, 125 sent packing, and I think we still had a little bit of budget left, but we're not going to be spending it now. I said the formation's changed a little bit, and it has done. So Lavia, Andrea, and Kamara in the midfield, with Simican and Papetti at the back. With Rooney, I can't pronounce his second name, but he's going to be playing the shadow striker. We're going to have two of them, and Arujo is going to be up top. He scored 11 goals for us already this season, with Rooney netting 5. And if you have a look at through the side, the potential is very high on the, I'd say about 80-90% of our players, which is phenomenal. We are in the Conference League. We had to go through the qualifying rounds, third and fourth rounds. We did beat Zelina 10-0 on aggregate, and then we beat Luzern 8-1 on aggregate. The friendlies weren't too bad, but the Premiership is a little bit different. We lose to Liverpool 2-1 away from home. Then we play Man City away from home and we lose 3-1. But we do get a 1-1 draw against Chelsea, of which we've only had one win in probably the last 6 games against them. So it was a good result in the end, coming from behind with an 86-minute equaliser. We play Sutton in the Carabao Cup third round. And the Europa Conference League, we've drawn Maccabi Haifa, PSV, Aranat, Armenia, Aberdeen, Shakhtar Soligost, and IFK Norrköping. We are lying just in the relegation zone at the moment. 3 games played though, so we have got 2 games in hand, but we have played 2 of the hardest teams already. Liverpool, Chelsea, and Man City, who are lost 3 games already. Wow. The season preview, we are predicted to finish in 8th position now, 150 to 1. So our odds have come down a little bit. Still nobody in the Dream 11, but if we have a look here, see if there's anybody to look out for. Rooney is one of them, being young. I mean, he's worth 55 to 77, so we have overspent possibly, but we'll see. Martin Buterina as well, another one. So without any further ado, let's get this third season simulated. We'll come back and hopefully this time we will have, well, we'll get a little bit further and see how well we do in Europe as well. Right then, a 9th place finish. Not as good as last season or the first season, actually, to be perfectly honest. However, as you can see next to the name, we are into the Europa League, which probably means we have won a competition, which you'll have a look at. We'll see which one it is. But 15 wins, 15 losses. It's not great, especially with a negative goal difference as well. We tried to finish strongly with 2 losses in the last 5, but wins all the same. Lost to United and Chelsea, but wins against Man City, West Ham and Southampton. But 53 points, we just missed out on 8th place, but to be perfectly honest, it don't really matter this season because we have got into Europe anyway. So our league form of them, a couple of losses straight off the bat and the draw with Chelsea. We do get to winning ways of West Ham, Southampton, Leeds. Lose to Brighton, disappointing, but an unbeaten October gets us back on track. We do beat Man United 1-0 at home though in November. So that's pretty good, but losses to Arsenal, Newcastle, Leeds even, with a draw with Tottenham in between time. Again, Liverpool smashing 4-1. We lose to Norwich away from home 4-1. Wow. Disappointing. 3-3 draw with Norwich. And then, yeah, it doesn't make sense at all. Norwich should be a team we should be beating. But an unbeaten February is good to see, especially with 0-0 draw with Newcastle. Then losses to Bournemouth and Arsenal in March. Can make excuses with it being a new formation, I don't know. But a 5-1 loss to United, we need to pull that back. But 4-2 win over Forest. And then that final day's loss to Chelsea as well. That could have cost us. The FA Cup, we don't get very far at all. It's we lose to Sheffield United after a replay and at home. To be perfectly honest, we should be beating them. It's not good enough. Carabao Cup. We see off Sutton, we beat Wolves through penalties, and then we lose 4-0 in the quarter-final against Chelsea. We just got totally dominated. And at home as well, which is even more disappointing. We do, however, get to the final of the Conference League. We have won a European trophy, 1-0 against Sevilla. There's a fantastic goal by Araujo. The goalkeeper standing no chance at all. Wow. Our first trophy, and it's a European trophy as well. So we can't ask for better than that. And that is our entry into the Europa League next season. So we can forgive them for finishing ninth, but we need to do better next season. So let's have a look at all the rest of the results. And we won every game apart from one, and that was in the quarter-final. So let's go through them then. We beat Zelina. They were the qualifiers, so we don't need to look at them. But the Conference League, 6 out of 6. 30 goals for, 30 against. And we beat Maccabi 6-1, 3-0 PSV, 10-1 against Ararat. Aberdeen we beat 3-0, 5-0 against Shakhtar there. Norrköping 3-1 to get us into the round of 16, where we beat Zrinski 10-3 on aggregate. Slavia Prague was a little bit harder, 2-0 overall. Rapid Vienna 3-0 overall, and then that 1-0 victory. We didn't concede that many goals either at all. 3 outside the group phase, so 6 overall, or 7 if you include the qualifiers. That is a phenomenal run. Looking at the squad, 56 goals from Araujo. It took him a while to get going, but he has done it. He has scored more than appearances. Absolutely fantastic. And Rooney, 16 goals, 19 assists, 35 goals involvement. Brilliant. And Arsene Zakaran as well, 20 goals involvement, including 15 goals for himself. Buendia as well, 15 and 12. Butarino, what did he get? He did only get 3 goals and 5 assists. However, we may look to move Buendina on. He's at 28 now. We need to let these youngsters flourish. So we may have to move him along. Possibly Watkins as well. 4 goals and 3 assists. But we'll see what we can do there. We may need to bring somebody else in, possibly. Digne as well, 2 goals, 5 assists, which is absolutely phenomenal as well. Goalkeeper Marshall, who got 23 games. What happened to our goalkeeper Martinez then? He only played 37. What happened? Was he injured? He only conceded 45, but even so, what happened? Were they giving our other goalkeeper a tryout or something? 35 conceded, 5 clean sheets. He only played 22 games in the league. So... did he have any injuries? Our goalkeeper. Wow, what is this? This may have been the reason. December 24. He was out for 5 weeks. And then in August, it was out for 2 months. We may have to look to get another goalkeeper, I think. That's 2 major injuries which kept him out for at least 3 months there. Wow. Assist-wise, coming from Rooney, Buendia and Cash with 10. Fantastic. And a lot more assists through the whole team, which is phenomenal. Let's have a look how much money they're willing to give us this time. £60 million. Considering we're in the Europa League, it's slightly more than last time. We may have to offload to bring in better quality players, possibly. But we'll see what we can do. We'll start with the outs once again. It's been another very productive window. £102 million has been let go. So Ollie Watkins has gone to Brentford for £30 million. Emiliano Buendia has gone to Juventus for £26,500. Konza has gone to West Ham for £30 million. £7 million Al Sadd get Carlos. Marino's gone to Benfica for up to £7 million. Digne's gone up to Zenit for up to £7 million as well. Coutinho finally gone. The £125,000 a week wage has gone. However, we are paying half his wages. We just couldn't get rid of him otherwise. And there's a few others going out on loan, especially Philip Marshall, who deputised quite well last season. He's gone to Luton as we have brought in somebody else. So starting off in midfield, Salvatore Esposito, 24 years old, £10 million from Torino. We had some money left over from our budget, and we had to bring in some bodies in because we were running a little bit light on the squad for £18.75 million. To rival Martinez. In fact, Lucas Chevalier is going to be our number one goalkeeper. We are going to look to move Martinez along next season. He's got another 2 years left on his contract, so next season we'll look to move him along and bring in another backup unless Marshall improves one hell of a lot. We raid Man United for Alvaro Fernandez for £30 million, I think it was. 22-year-old left back. Digne's gone, and I think Marino's gone as well. So we had to bring somebody else in. Kirkez is okay, but again, he's got quite high potential as well. So they're going to battle out between them, but we're going to give Fernandez the start this season. But again, he looks very, very good as well. At the back, we're bringing Malik Thior, 24-year-old strong centre-back, £35 million from Dortmund. We're bringing some quality European players in here now. And Alex Scott, we welcome to the club. We tried to get another wonder kid, a Dutch player, and I can't remember his name for the life of me. However, he kept failing his medical, unfortunately, and in the end we decided to go with Alex Scott. He was quite happy to come to the club. He's going to sit in midfield. He can play DM or he can play in cam role, but we're going to want him to sit in the midfield. Him, Andre and Lavia can... well, I think they're pretty good, the three of them in there. So if one gets injured, one can just slot straight in. So we've got a really, really good midfield now as well. £85 million from Bournemouth. Ouch. It was a lot of money. However, we had the money sitting there. We wanted a real good quality player. And I think we have got that in Alex Scott. Now, 22 years old, he's going to be worth a fortune. And I think he's going to be one of the better players in this save, I think. So there you have it, £164 million spent. I think we spent that last season as well, or 156 last season, but 102 going out. So a net spend of 62, of which we had that in the transfer budget. So I was so overall £2 million. I think it was about £2 million spend in total. So I think we've done really well this season. We're staying with the same formation. However, we are going to have Lavia as a box-to-box this season. And Alex Scott, his preferred role is advanced playmaker. He wanted to play up here, but we're going to stick him here. And Fernandez gets a start as well as Chevalier as well. Friendlies and the start of the season, for a change, we have gone unbeaten. There's one game I wanted to show you, apart from the 8-2 victory over Celtic with Araujo netting 5 goals, but it's the Galatasaray game. Araujo, 7 goals. I mean, 7 goals with a perfect 10 as well. I mean, that is just absolutely amazing. And then we struggled to score in the league. We beat Palace 2-1 with Scott and Zakarian scoring. We draw away from home at Old Trafford 2-2. Araujo getting on the score sheet this time. Twice going behind and twice coming leveling. And that's the sort of game we probably would have got smashed last season. Norwich, we smashed 4-1 with Araujo netting a hat-trick. And Leicester, we draw 1-1 with Rooney getting the goal. Well, getting the lead, and then we failed to hang on to it. But apart from that, them 2 games we probably would have lost last season away from home. The Europa League, we have been drawn Atletico Pamplona, Dortmund, PAOK, Astana, Lyon, Juventus, AEK and Tromsø as well. So that's going to be quite difficult. We are lying 7th in the table, which is quite nice. Only 4 points off now the lead. This is our best start to a season by a long way. And we have drawn Wickham in the Carabao Cup away from home. We are still 9th in the media prediction. However, our odds have been slashed from over 200 right down to 50 to 1 alongside Bournemouth and West Ham. We're not that far off the top 7, which I think we can easily achieve going into the final season, especially with the players we are bringing in. And unfortunately, we still haven't got a player in the Dream 11. Hopefully we can capitalise on the Europa Conference League from last season. Let's see if we can win the Europa League this season, get ourselves into the Champions League. If we can't do that, we need to finish in the top 6 or 5. We've broken into the top 6 once again, the second time in this rebuild. Hopefully we can carry it on into the final season. 17 wins, 12 draws, an awful lot of draws, but we turned a lot of losses as well into them draws. So where we would have lost normally, we've gained at least a point. 10 points more than last season, which is a massive improvement, and our goal difference has improved a hell of a lot as well. Araujo finishes at second leading goal scorer with 32. Haaland with 47 is just absolutely phenomenal, and Rooney second best player behind Haaland in the league as well. So if we filter our league form, so we didn't do too bad. We had a massive loss against Man City 4-1. Then Everton later on. We remained unbeaten in November, which is pretty good. A couple of more losses. Liverpool, Newcastle, Chelsea. But we do hammer Arsenal 4-0. And then Sunderland week after 4-0 as well, which is pretty good. And then we lose to Man City, but beat Arsenal again. 3-2 away from home. What an improvement that is. And that's what we need to do. And it seems to be working at the moment. Tottenham and Newcastle were beat away and home. Liverpool, we draw 1-1 before losing to Brighton 4-1. And then heading into the final 2 months of the season, just the one loss against Leicester after beating Wolves, Brentford and Leeds. And then we go on to beat Norwich, West Ham and Watford to finish strongly. Overall, not a bad league campaign to finish 6th and only lose 9 games this time round. The FA Cup is again another disappointing run. We had to go to a replay to beat Bournemouth 1-0. Brighton we beat 2-0 and then lose to Tottenham 2-1 in the 5th round, with Harry Kane netting both goals. The Carabao Cup we go on better. We beat Wickham on penalties, beat Fulham, and then we lose to Man City on penalties in the quarter-final, with Andre netting the equaliser in the 79th minute. But it was Theo and Andre missing the vital penalties though. Again, we get to the latter stages sort of, and we just do not progress. The Europa League, however, we finish in the 5th position behind Dortmund, Monaco, Man United and Brighton. Brighton finishing top of the group for 8 for 8. Well, same with Man United and Monaco actually. Dortmund losing 1 game, we lose 1 game. So we beat Tromsø, AEK, Lyon, Astana, PAOK and Atletico Pamplona. We draw with Juventus, which isn't a bad result, and we lose to Dortmund. So we could have actually snuck into 4th spot, but I don't think it matters that much. We get into the last 16. The last 16 we play Salzburg and we beat them 3-0 over the 2 legs. And then we play Man United in the quarter-finals. So another quarter-final showing. This time just a little bit too much. 5-1 at Old Trafford. Anthony Rashford, Roque, Fernandes and Calvert-Lewin on target. Araujo leads the way for goals. 45 and 57 this time. Not as many as last season, I don't think, or the season before. But 6 assists. So 51 involvements, which isn't too bad. Arsene Zakaran as well. He did too well. Didn't do too bad for the 23-year-old. 23 goal involvements, 14 for him. Rooney, 12 goals, 12 assists, which is fantastic. Alex Scott in his first season, 2 goals and 10 assists, which isn't bad at all. We have got a fairly young side here, which is really, really good. Just a couple of players we may have to offload, like Matty Cash possibly. He had a good season, 4 assists with a goal. Is there anybody else apart from Douglas Luiz as well, which we may have to offload if we bring in another youngster? And Martinez also, he didn't play at all this season and he's on 100 grand a week. Assist wise, Rooney and Alex Scott are only people reaching double figures, but other than that, it's not too bad. It's spaced out between majority of the team. Chevalier, 55 goals conceded in 57. which is pretty good as well. Finances, £60 million to spend this season. We're going to try and get into the Champions League one way or another and try and go a little bit higher than top 6. We need to break into that the monopoly up there. Will £60 million be enough on top of the players that we're hoping to sell? So as with previous seasons, we'll start with the outs first. £42 million gone out the door. We lose Matty Cash. He's gone to Inter Milan actually for £11.75 million. Now he was going on 28-29, one of the older ones left at the club. We decided to let him go. Maybe it might have been a mistake, I don't know, especially with Inter coming after him. Douglas Luiz has gone to Ajax for £25.5 million. And our goalkeeper Martinez has gone to Shakhtar for £8 million, and a couple of youngsters going as well to Forest and Watford. So we had a modest transfer. We only brought in a few players. Arthur Vermeeren, Belgium. Now, in the previous season, I did say we was after a Dutch player. It was actually this guy here, Arthur. He's actually Belgium, not Dutch. But he was a wonder kid at the time. He still probably is actually at 21 years old. His stats look really, really nice. And I think to have us back up in the midfield, it's fantastic. The midfield we have got now with Scott, Lavia, Kamara, Andre as well, and this guy, and Esposito also. It's a solid ground for building. But we pick him up from Antwerp for £24.5 million. Another player we tried to get hold of a couple of seasons ago. He was injured. He failed his medical as well. We finally getting Conchalo Inacio from Sporting for £48 million. Again, fantastic. He's an elite centre-back, and it's somebody we really wanted to bolster our defence. In fact, he's probably going to be our number one with Theo and Semikan as well. We've got a very strong back four now as well. And at 25 years old, he's probably one of the older players at the club actually. Now we blew majority of our budget, I'd say at least half of our budget, on Aaron Hickey, £70 million from Brentford. He can play either side of the wing backs, and that's what we really wanted him to come and do. The 24-year-old looks fantastic. His physicals look really, really good. Speed and acceleration, wow. All I can say, he's still got room to improve as well. So overall, £123 million spent, £42 million coming in. It's not a bad return, I don't think. Formation for this time round, for the final season, we're not going to play with wingers. Wingers just seem to be broken in the game. I don't know why, but they just seem to. But this is the formation we are going. It's sort of a Christmas tree formation-ish. We're going to have a DLP on defend actually sitting in midfield, just dropping back ever so slightly. We're going to have a roaming playmaker. Hopefully Alex Scott will take that role. And box to box with Lavia as well. Instead of shadow strikers this time, we're going to have attacking midfielders that go between our midfield and attack. So hopefully this will work as well. I think we dropped back at far too much, inviting teams onto us. I think this time round we are going to go full throttle, possibly. Maybe switch to attack, maybe, or it might just be okay as it is. And this is why I'm leaving it as it is. We're unbeaten. We've won every single game so far. Friendlies, we only conceded the 1 goal. We did go to Scotland for our tour. Partick Thistle and Hibernian 4-0 and 2-0. Our home form just seems to be really, really good and what seems to drive us forward. The start of the campaign, we beat Southampton, Norwich, Bournemouth, Wolves and Forest. Now, some of them games we could have slipped up quite easily. The Europa League, we have drawn Panathinaikos, Galatasaray, Dinamo Kyiv, Ferencváros, Karabag and Juventus, Dunstrada and Uthrai as well. And in the Carabao Cup we've drawn Brentford. So Aaron Hickey playing against his old club. And there's a sight we've not seen in this rebuild so far. We are top of the table, 5 for 5, 2 points clear of Man United, who have drawn the 1 game. Tottenham have lost. Liverpool in 5th, Chelsea, Man City, Arsenal, Newcastle. Any surprises there? Not really. Norwich seem to be a team, and Forest seem to be teams that they just keep coming up and down like a yo-yo. But hopefully this time we can hold on to that and build on what we've already started. Fortunately, the media don't see it that way. They still see us as finishing in 9th position, 50-1 to win the league. For the final time, let's simulate Season 5. We'll come back and have a look one last time. Wow, we saved the best till last and we finished 3rd in the table, which is a massive improvement from previous seasons. We're into the Champions League as well, which is phenomenal. We just finished behind United And Liverpool some way off though. Finish ahead of Newcastle, Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal. Tottenham make it to 12th position. I'm just happy we're into the Champions League. That is a job done. Granted, not winning the league, but finally getting to the Champions League. Araujo finished second highest goal scorer with 29 ahead of Haaland, Fernandes, Isaac and Solanke, but Haaland just takes it away yet again. He's just an absolute beast, isn't he? So our league form, we remained unbeaten right up until towards the end of October, where we lose to Brighton 3-1. Wow, but we beat Arsenal 1-0, Liverpool 2-1. Fantastic. After Brighton, we beat Leicester and Man United. Lose to Tottenham though. A couple of more losses, Chelsea and Newcastle, but we draw with City. Beat Liverpool again. Wow. West Ham seem to be a thorn in our side as well. Arsenal we beat again. Man City we do get smashed though. But we do have quite a good run though. So a lot more wins and draws to losses. Tottenham we lose to. Chelsea we draw. There's no big results in there though. But we are beating some of the bigger teams now. And obviously, you need that in order to finish into the top 6. FA Cup, we get as far as a quarter-final, so a better showing, but we lose on penalties to Everton. And that's after beating Norwich, Forest after extra time, after a replay, Sheffield United, but we lose on penalties. That's unfortunate with 3 people missing. The Carabao, we beat Brentford 5-2. In fact, we smashed them 5-2. Araujo getting 4 goals. But Man City at home, 2nd minute goal, and we just couldn't find a way back into the game. Again, another disappointing showing in this competition. I expected this one to be won though, to be fair. However, we make it to yet another final, another European final, this time in the Europa League. Twice we go behind for Marseille. We equalise not long afterwards. We do this once more. European nights are a thing of glory at Aston Villa at the minute. We've won the Conference League now. We've won the Europa, which we would have got into the Champions League anyway. We do get to play the Super Cup next season as well, which is a added bonus for the winners against in the Champions League. So that's going to be difficult. A nice header there. Wittner scoring for Marseille though. Wow. Fofana and Wittner, very, very good players. And they had a player sent off as well, actually. But we do get an equaliser not long afterwards. It's it's a bad ball from the goalkeeper. Was probably surprised to get the ball back, but it did go to penalties. There's a save, a wonderful save from Chevalier, and then Andre to put it in the. Well, no, he actually missed as well. So we're actually seeing the penalty shootout. That's a good goal there by Harriet. Baturina. Oh, in off the post. Wonderful. That's 1-1. Rongler. It was a good, well taken goal. Chevalier just couldn't quite get there. Vermin, the youngster. Excellent stuff. He's not going to miss those, is he? Under. Well, that is a lame penalty. Chevalier just didn't do anything. Theo. Oh, right through the goalkeeper's hands there. He almost missed it. So, along the way, who did we play? With Panathinaikos, we win. We beat Galatasaray, Dinamo Kyiv, 5-0 against Fever. Karabag, we win. We do lose to Juventus, though, in the league phase. Dunstrada, we win 2-0, and Utrecht, we draw. So, where did we finish? We finished 5th in total. West Ham, Atletico Madrid, Borussia Mönchengladbach, and Wolfsburg finish above us. But overall, I'm really happy with that. We only conceded 1 goal in the league phase. In the round of 16, we beat Lille 5-2 on aggregate. Atletico Madrid, who finished above us, we win 4-1 over the 2 legs. West Ham, who finished... Did they finish top? We lost 1-0 at home, and then we go over to their place and spank them 3-1. It goes to extra time, and Baturina with the 97th minute winner. Fantastic, and they've seen the final, a 2-2 draw, winning on penalties. Another European success. Goals, Araujo, fantastic, 59 games, 51 goals, 3 assists. Rooney with 14 and 11. Baturina with 9 and 5, 8 and 7 for Zakaran. Caden Young getting in on the act as well. 33 games off the bench with 3 goals and 5 assists for the youngster. He's got very high potential. Everybody else weighing in, but not much goals because all the goals were scored by Araujo. Assist-wise, it is just Rooney with 11, right through the whole team virtually, and 57 goals conceded in 60 for Chevalier. Staffing, well, our coaching seems to have improved somewhat. Same with the recruitment team as well, but they still need to get a little bit better than that. But hopefully now, with finishing third, Champions League, it'll be a little bit better, and hopefully they'll replace some of these recruiters as well. And again, medical team needs to improve also. So unfortunately, we didn't manage any domestic trophies, but we are champions of Europe twice in this rebuild. The Conference League was won, the Europa League was won. All that remains now is the Champions League. And I think with the side that we have got here, with Luke Eels, actually a hot prospect. And we've got us a fairly young side, which is fantastic. 25 years old for the captain Araujo, Lavia 23 and Eels 16. So if you have any other ideas as to what rebuild to do next, then please let me know down in the comments below. If you want to support the channel and enjoy what I'm doing, then please like and subscribe. It really does help. And until the next rebuild, thank you very much for watching. Thank you.